Winston Churchill, From Childhood to World Leadership. Introduction. Winston Churchill is one of the most prominent figures in world history who played an important role in shaping the history of the 20th century. It tells the story of his life, from childhood to becoming one of the most famous leaders in the world. First chapter, Childhood and Education. Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill was born on November 30, 1874 at Blenheim Palace in Oxfordshire, England. His father, Lord Randolph Churchill, was a prominent politician and his mother, Jenny Jerome, was an influential American woman. Churchill grew up in an aristocratic and wealthy family, but his childhood was not without its challenges. His parents were often absent and he grew up under the tutelage of nurses and tutors. Churchill attended Harrow School, but was an average student and spent most of his time reading books on history and literature. However, his keen interest in history and militarism was evident from an early age. He then attended the Royal Military College Sandhurst and after graduation served as an officer in the British Army. Chapter 2, Entering the Field of Politics. After serving in the army and participating in various wars, Churchill turned to politics. In 1900, he entered the British Parliament as a member of the Conservative Party. During this period, he was recognized as a young and energetic politician. However, due to his differences with the Conservative Party, Churchill joined the Liberal Party and was appointed Secretary of Commerce in 1908. Over the next few years, Churchill served in various positions, including Home Secretary and First Lord of the Admiralty. He played an important role in strengthening the British Navy and preparing the country for the First World War. The third chapter, the era of the First World War. With the outbreak of World War I in 1914, Churchill played an important role in British military strategies as First Lord of the Admiralty. However, the failure of the Gallipoli campaign in 1915 severely damaged his reputation and he was forced to resign. Churchill returned to the army and served on the Western Front, but never left politics. Chapter 4, Back to Politics. After the war ended, Churchill quickly returned to politics and joined the Conservative Party. In the 1920s, he served in various positions, including Secretary of the Treasury. However, the 1930s were a challenging time for Churchill. He was marginalized because of his opposition to government policies and his warnings about the danger of Nazism. Chapter 5, World War II and British Leadership. With the outbreak of World War II in 1939, Churchill returned to the spotlight. In 1940, after the resignation of Neville Chamberlain, Churchill was appointed Prime Minister of Great Britain. He led the country through one of the darkest periods in British history, boosting the nation's morale with inspirational speeches and decisive decisions. Working closely with Allied leaders, including Franklin D. Roosevelt and Joseph Stalin, played an important role in defeating the Axis forces. In 1945, with the end of World War II, he was recognized as one of the greatest leaders of his time. Chapter 6, The Post-War Era and Churchill's Legacy. After the war, Churchill lost the 1945 election and continued as leader of the Conservative Party. In 1951, he was again elected Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and served in this position until 1955. Winston Churchill received many awards and honors during his lifetime, including the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1953 for his historical writings and speeches. He died in 1965 at the age of 90, but his legacy lives on.